Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Talking League. We finally have Jared Buckle back with us. What's up, Jay?
What's up, guys? Sorry I've been away, but I'm back now, ready to go, and it's great to be back. Feeling good,
Awesome.
feeling positive.
Awesome. And below us, then once again, we've got Mr. Ashlimi. How you doing, boy?
I'm good in you, Shani, and I'm glad to see Jay back, and I'm really excited for another awesome video.
Good stuff. Just something I'm noticing, my hair is going this way and Jay's is going this way, meeting me. So we actually look quite good today.
If we go to your screen, we can join up there.
There we go. Okay, so boys, I put on our Instagram channel this morning a poll about Joe Hart signing for Spurs. What do you guys think about it?
I think Joe Hart coming in isn't more as like an extra keeper. It's more of like a coaching role, if that makes sense. He comes with a lot of experience, a lot of know-how, and I think he's coming to teach a lot of the youngsters. I'm sure he'll get a couple of games, maybe, possibly, but he's going to be our third option. But yeah, he brings a lot of experience, which is exciting. I wasn't so sure about him coming initially, but after I thought about it, that's exactly how I'm seeing it right now. I mean, he did so well at City. He has a lot of experience. I think he had the most penalty saves for quite a few seasons running for a long time, and most saves and most clean sheets. So yeah, he's someone good to have around to talk the boys through Spurs winning the Premier League next season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So my view on Joe Hart's obviously going to Tottenham. City at a stage we relied on him a lot and stuff like that, and then when he did leave and stuff, I didn't really see him do too well at other clubs. So like you guys said, with the fact that he's going to be in more of a coaching role than a supportive captain type of vibe, instead of being the actual head man, the first choice keeper. I do think he's going to teach you guys quite a lot. I know Hugo Lloris has got too much experience as is, but when you look at Tottenham as a whole, maybe they're going to need that backup when it comes to maybe new keepers that you guys might sign, or maybe the current keepers that you do have, maybe they need a bit more experience, need a bit more lecturing. So yeah, I'm very happy to see Joe Hart back in a top club as well. It sucks to see him go in a very, very different position where he was, and then going from a top to a low. No offense to the team itself, but when you look at Tottenham is back at that high point, and he needs to get back to that top level that he needs to be. And maybe he can start. You never know when it comes to a team, when it comes to a certain game, they might need him. But I wouldn't see him as a first choice, but hopefully soon he can maybe impress himself to become a first choice keeper.
Yeah, you guys are spot on, and you've mentioned a lot of important points. I spoke to Logan yesterday, and I said that is a typical Jose Mourinho signing in the sense that he's building a team around our biggest weakness, and Spurs' biggest weakness has always been our mentality side of it. We've got world-class players at the club. We've had world-class players in the past as well, and we've just never kicked on. And my mind gets drawn back to that game when we were chasing Leicester for the title, and we lost it when we had to beat Chelsea at the Bridge, and we ended up drawing 2-2. That's where our true mentality really showed that we needed to win that game, and we couldn't see it out. So I think Jose Mourinho is bringing in players now that are going to instill his, what's the word I'm looking for, winning mentality. And guys that aren't voice their opinion when we aren't doing well. So I'd be really excited to see what Joe Hart will bring to the team, as long as it's in the dressing room, of course. I don't see him pipping Lloris for that number one spot, but I do see him battling Gazzaniga for number 2. And yeah, especially, there's a lot of games coming up, but we're going into the entry stage of the Europa League, which means 2 games a week. It's going to be very busy, so definitely glad to have a player like that. About other signings at the moment, I saw Willian went to Arsenal. I see it's quite a common trend that Chelsea players end up going to Arsenal and vice versa. What do you guys reckon about it?
It's a retirement home for Chelsea players.
You even messed with Ashton's Wi-Fi there.
Yeah, I knocked him out straight out.
Yeah, while we wait for Ash to come back, oh, there we go. Ashley, what did you want to have to say about it before your Wi-Fi get knocked out?
Sorry, I don't know what's up with my Wi-Fi. So basically, I could see William. I do disagree on his wages, because you look at Aubameyang with a higher game tolerance with goals and stuff like that. So when you look at the actual wage that William's getting compared to Aubameyang, it's a bit unfair for Aubameyang's sake because he's the captain and stuff like that. But when you look at the presence that Chelsea had, I think William does bring in that winning experience as well, winning the league and stuff like that, and doing different factors for Chelsea. But it's a weird move in the sense that maybe Chelsea didn't really need Willian in the first place, but it's also a different sense that Willian could have done better maybe in a Spanish team or even an Italian team.
Jay, would you have taken him at first?
Yeah, definitely. I think the reason for his move is he wasn't getting as much game time at Chelsea as he used to. Obviously, that plays on a player's lot, especially when, well, we know what he can do. I've seen that guy score some incredible goals, and he's an incredible player. So I think it's for him, it's more about game time than where he is. And I mean, sticking in London is probably where he's made his new home. So if he came to Spurs, I would have been quite happy. I think he could have gelled in. But I mean, I remember, who was it? Him and Eric Dyer got into a little bit of a boxing match, one of our derby games. And I think Chelsea and Spurs would have been the last choice that he would have made if he had a choice between any of the London clubs.
I personally think it came down to the wages. I don't think we could afford these wages. I think it was something on like 200k a week, and I think Harry Kane's on 250, so they would never justify that. But yeah, I'd definitely have him at Spurs. A question I want to ask you guys, I'm not going to start with anyone, and whoever wants to jump in, go for it. So I'm just going to name a team, and you must tell me one player from that team that you would have in your team if you could transfer immediately. So I'm going to just start off and say some random team names. We will start with Liverpool.
No one. No, joking. I think definitely Sadio Mane, hands down.
Okay, Sadio Mane. Jay?
I would go with some defensive wingers, so Trent or Robertson.
Yeah, if it's for me, I would say Trent. I wouldn't take Robertson. He's a bit of an arrogant prick.
But he works so well with Andy.
Okay, let's move away from Liverpool. Let me start with Inter Milan.
Lukaku.
Wow. I think maybe Lukaku. I'm not gonna lie, Lukaku. I think it'd be very good for Man City, because obviously Aguero is coming at that age, and Lukaku's still young, quite young. So I'll definitely take Lukaku. Not a doubt. Maybe even Laturo. He's also doing quite well this season. But I still think he's a bit of a one-hit wonder. I still think Lukaku has kept his form even for Bolton for the past few years. So I think he would do well as a City player, because him and KDB could be one of the best partnerships that you can get in football. So, yeah, that's my opinion. It's like Eriksen and Kane, how they linked up as well, or Son and Kane, you know.
I think
Lukaku as well.
Yeah, Lukaku definitely, because I mean the current form that he's in is incredible. If you match up his stats now as to when he was at United, it's like two completely different players. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So he's in form now, and I think he's very much sought after. He's really kicked it off there.
If it was for me, I would say Eriksen.
I saw him bang in a goal from a corner the other day, and I was like, why couldn't you have done that for us?
Because it's crazy. Okay. Let me move on to a new team. Let's start with Real Madrid.
Bale. Bringing back the lots of goal force in London.
I think maybe Eden Hazard. I think he'll do well at City.
Wow, I never saw that coming.
I think he needs to come back to the EPL, and I think he needs to come to City.
Jeez. I was going to say someone like Varane.
Maybe in a way, but I think Koulibaly is more on our radar than anything. But he is quite old as well, and Varane is still relatively young.
That could work. Jay, you said Bale. Is it just because of what we know about Bale, or because he's unhappy?
Do you know what? I think he's actually such a wasted talent there. I know he's not bothered. He's happy with how much he's getting paid, and he gets to play golf. And I just think
He gets to elect.
London. I know for a fact every single Spurs fan I know would take him back in a heartbeat. So
absolutely. Okay, so that's done with Real Madrid. To the sinking ship that is Barcelona, which one player would you take?
Oof. Wow. Coutinho?
yeah.
No, I think a definite player is obviously Lionel Messi, not a doubt. But I wouldn't see Messi do quite well in the Premier League. Like, don't take me wrong, he's a top player. I think he'll do well, but obviously the Spanish league isn't as rough and tough, and the refs aren't as how do I say it, lenient, for example, because they kick you, they hit you, they do whatever, but you know, when you look at the actual free kicks, they don't actually give a lot of free kicks compared to they do in Spain, for example. And then, but a definite player I think would be Lionel Messi, or even maybe bringing back Suarez. You know, he'll do so well in a team just to irritate some Premier League teams. You know,
in an all-you-can-eat contest, he'd do very well.
100%.
Joe, you said like you're looking like you're thinking very hard. Who would you take that?
Very hard.
Like, I know the very obvious choice would be Messi, but to be honest, I would take one of a lot younger players, someone that I think has a long way to go and is only going to get better, and that'll be De Ligt. I think he's solid for such a youngster. To be playing that kind of role as well in the team is quite incredible. So yeah, I think I'd go for him. I think he's still got a long way to go, and he's going to develop quite well. So if you're looking at a future, I'd go for him. If you're going for right now, I'd still go Messi.
Wait, do you mean De Jong or De Ligt?
De Ligt.
De Ligt, okay. Yeah. For centre back wise, I think De Ligt is one of the best young talents in the world for defensive roles.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they put him a little bit too much pressure on him. He's still very young, obviously, and I think he has a long way to go. So someone for the future, I would say him, because I mean, you look at all those big centre backs that have played in the Spanish league, like Sergio Ramos, and they all really excel, if that makes sense. Not just purely on the defensive front, but the Spanish game is played from the back. So they have prolific goal scorers, but the way they play is from the back, and the defenders actually control the game, in my opinion.
Spot on. Yeah. Actually, I want to ask you, as a City fan, who is the one player in your team that you think other teams hate?
Well, he left. I think Claudio Bravo was one of those players.
Really?
No, I think a definite player that most people hate would be if I had to look at, for example, like Company was one of those guys that a lot of people didn't like. They thought he was arrogant. They thought, you know, he was this tough, mean guy. Well, for some people, I'm just saying, because I've heard a lot of people say that to me, where they said Company's a bit of they didn't like him in a sense, you know. They thought he was a bit too rough, or he was a bit too kind, or was too soft, this. I think right now, another player, I don't know, because I don't actually see it as an outsider point of view of Man City. Like, I wouldn't really see someone really hate any of our players. Maybe Sterling is one of them, because the Liverpool players, Liverpool as a team, as fans, I think Sterling is one of those players that they do dislike in a sense. But I wouldn't really see anybody else. Guerrero, I don't know how you can't like him. You can put his stats up there next to Harry Kane in the Premier League. I don't know if you guys could agree who's a better striker, but you look at like centre backs. Laporte is amazing. You look at Kyle Walker. Maybe Tottenham fans might miss him or dislike him for leaving, but there's so many players that I think a lot of teams would love to have them in their team. But at a sense, I don't know who they could dislike.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. Jay, who do you think in our squad other opposition fans hate?
Dele Alli.
Yeah, that's a good judgment.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I would say. I wonder. Eric Dyer.
Yeah, possibly.
I like Eric Dyer. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
To be honest, I really don't know. It depends on the team. Arsenal, if you support Arsenal, Harry Kane. I would say those are the top guys. I know Ali's.
Yes.
He's very controversial, and he's very he carries his heart on his sleeve. So he's very passionate, and when things don't go the way he wants to, he retaliates, if that makes sense. So I think people read that in the wrong way and get very offended by what he does.
Yeah, I could agree with you on that. Actually, just from a Spurs fan, there's one City player I can't stand. It is Kyle Walker, but it was just in the manner that he left Spurs. It's not to do with him as a personal player. But yeah, Jay, you say Dele Alli, Eric Dyer, Harry Kane. I think those three tick the box 100%. Possibly even Danny Rose when he is with the squad. I think that's one that Arsenal fans don't enjoy too much. But yeah, it's just interesting to see from other opposition fans what they think of your players as well. And we ran a poll, or more or less a poll on our Instagram account asking about strikers, what you rate them. I must just say, Jared rated Harry Kane 11 out of 10.
What did I rate the Aubameyang?
Not too foul. But I saw some people's, I won't mention their names, but some of their votes were crazy. I saw someone rated Harry Kane a 3 out of 10. And I don't know the person that rated him personally, so I can't even say they were joking. I think they were being dead honest, which shocks me because they rated Aubameyang 8 out of 10. So I don't know how you exactly. That's exactly
this season maybe
an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Guess what I rated Aubameyang? Did you see?
Yeah. I think I rated him the same as well. But it's interesting. Actually, I think you said for this season. Is that what you said for Harry Kane, right?
For Aubameyang this season, I think he's 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think he's been the only shining light really for Arsenal in stages of their season.
Yes.
But apparently he's going to renew his contract and sign a new contract at Arsenal, which is great for Spurs fans because we love that banter going on between him and Kane. But I think it's crazy because I'm just going to jump ship a little bit. Arsenal, I don't know if you saw, they had to release 50 of their employees due to financial reasons. But then they are renewing, well, not renewing. They've got Ozil, who's on £350,000 a week. When you have to let go of 50 of your workers, I think it's absolutely shocking. And then you're signing Willian on top of that and possibly extending Aubameyang's contract. So I'm not too sure how Arsenal fans feel about that as opposition fans. I think it's absolutely nuts. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know. Everybody knows what I think about Arsenal. I agree. I don't think it's correct that you could drop 50 people and then have players earning that salary with the current stage. I know lots of teams, a lot of players half their salaries everywhere or took decreases, just to help cope with the thing. And if he's still continuing to get paid 350 for the amount of work he does, I think that is a little bit ridiculous. And then also getting rid of a bunch of staff and then signing a new player and then paying him also like a massive wage is crazy.
It's a kick
I think it's very, very bad because you even look at the likes of Valencia letting go of their captain Parejo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's some crazy news because the way Parejo impacted Valencia itself is the way Kevin De Bruyne impacted Man City. And now I look at the likes of Arsenal. Ozil, how many appearances has he had compared to the likes of those people actually putting their effort in the work? I think the output that Ozil made is probably not even a person combined like himself. He hasn't really done anything for the club. Whereas you look at those 50 people, that's opportunities that's lost. Like they could have helped people. They could have helped their own families, for example. They lost so many things that they could have done. But the problem is with Ozil, I don't know how long they can keep that debt for. Same with Real Madrid with Gareth Bale. You know, he's a top player, but he's sitting on bench, and you get so many players that could be released or moved to other clubs to help the club itself from growing and stuff. So that's the only problem I have.
Yeah. Look, and it's not a personal dig at Arsenal. I mean, our fans and followers would know Jay and myself hate Arsenal due to the fact that we are Spurs fans. So it's not having a dig at them only. I know there's other clubs that are going through the exact same thing. And I think it's disgusting that those clubs can operate in that kind of sense. But yeah, moving away from that side of football, guys, it's level 2 lockdown in South Africa. It's another step closer to amateur football.
Yes.
I'm hearing whispers that we could be heading in the right direction, that football could be resuming for us. I'm not too sure how football in lockdown would look though. Training with masks on, that's going to have to be one of the things, I'm sure. And I know a lot of people have said that they can't breathe with masks, they can't train, but that's just a minority as well. Myself, I can still cycle and jog with a mask on. I have no problem breathing. Maybe it's because I don't breathe properly in the first place. I don't know. But if we had to go back under strict conditions with mask training compulsory, what would your guys' feeling about that be?
100%. I think guys are longing for it. I think people are struggling out there, myself included. It's just that sense of camaraderie. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Like just a little bit of that. Even if we're not playing games, just a little bit of social interaction that I think all of us are longing for. I mean, we haven't seen our team in I can't even. It's been months now. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and generally we're a very tight-knit group, and pretty much all communication with those guys has disappeared because I'm not one. You guys know I'm not one for social media, so I generally go on face-to-face communication. And for me, I haven't spoken to any of those guys since we lost that, if that makes sense. So, yeah,
Yes,
for me, it'll be fantastic. I would absolutely love it. And if there are restrictions behind it, it is understandable, but which I agree with too. But yeah, I think things are changing and everything's slowly being pulled back to normal. So I don't see why that can't.
Yeah, actually, what's your view? I mean, I know you're going to be playing for us in particular. How would you feel about training with mask on?
I would love to train as long as I get to play ball. I think it is a bit weird to play with masks because you go to a restaurant, you sit down, you don't wear a mask, you interact with people. But in a physical sense, where you are touching each other, you're tackling each other, you're pushing each other. Sorry, I don't know if I cut there. So the problem is, like, when you do play football, obviously you need to be physical. You need to be on and off the ball. You're touching the ball. There's so much like different ways of touching means, if that makes sense. But I would love just to play ball. I don't care what restrictions there is. But I would just love to play ball in general, you know. So I think with the league itself, I think it should be on hold for a bit. I think the actual training sense should come in and kick in. Just give it a few months just to kick in and see if levels do rise. And if they're going to take the ball away from us, then it's going to suck. Then we're going to wait another 3 months, 2 months. So I think we should start slowly by getting the training in. And then eventually, once they can see, when they can see that there's changes and the levels are decreasing, then I would love to see the ball back, you know. So I would just see that the league games are going to start in a much later process than now.
Yeah. Look, another point we have there, Jared's background picture is exactly a drone footage from our Benoni Northern's training ground, training one night. So that's a good reminiscence of football. Man, I missed that, eh? But another side of us going back to amateur football is all the jobs of the staff that work at the football club. They've taken a heavy knock. I know Benoni Northerns, they've got a fundraiser going to try and raise funds for the staff that work at the club and that. So if you haven't been able to donate yet, please drop us a message. We'll let you know how to donate some funds just to help those guys that unfortunately out of work at the club, that they can still get some sort of an income to provide for their families. So I think that would be a good benefit, that if we go back to football, that means that we could start paying those staff again. So I think that would be important, but I don't think any matches will take place anytime soon, though.
No, not at all. But I,
So,
I love
guys,
the fact,
is anything-
yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
Shani. I love the fact that local football is also back. I was a bit angry about this weekend when I saw, well, not this weekend, like this week in general with Pirates losing. But,
Chiefs.
you know, and Chiefs. So, but like, I love to see the fact that local football's back and I see the country's getting back to normal and football's just getting back to normal. So I'm excited. I'm just excited, you know.
Okay, good stuff. Jay, is there anything else from your side that you'd like to add or mention?
Nothing in particular. I'm excited that sports in general is back to normal. Just a shout out to a fellow South African, Brad Binder. Well done on his first MotoGP a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think he's doing great things. So I like to honour other sportsmen wherever they are, whatever sport they do, as long as they are South African. We're very proud of them.
Yeah.
So yeah. And otherwise, I'm excited. The Europa League final is going to be quite interesting this year. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
And Bayern Munich and Barcelona, we haven't even said anything about that.
Yeah.
Because we know United
And Man
fans
City
feel
getting
about
kicked
it anyway. Okay, boys. I think we're going to wrap it up for now. We're almost on our 30-minute time limit. Jay, thank you. It's nice to have you back with us once again. We're glad to see your face. We know you're healthy. We know you're alive. Ashton, you're always smiling and nodding. We love it. Thank you very much. You're looking like a amigo there, or Mexican cartel member maybe. Good job, boy. Guys, it was good chatting again. Wish you guys lots. And to our fans and followers, keep it real. That's from me signing out. Boys, say your goodbyes.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Awesome to be back. Thank you guys for having me as always, even though I take little breaks here and there. But I love you guys to bits. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys. Have an awesome one. Peace to all of you for watching. See you next time. Boom.
Ciao, boys.
Peace.